What's going on, guys? My name is Ethan. I am the owner of Wabash County's first and only virtual reality arcade, Uptown Virtual Reality, and also the co-host of the Reality Check podcast. Both of those you can find at UptownVR on Instagram and at the Reality Check podcast on Instagram.
Hello everybody, thank you for joining us today on this episode of the Innovative Entrepreneur Productions, where we interview local entrepreneurs and learn more about their business. Please enjoy today's episode. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. It's a huge help with the YouTube algorithm. Hello everybody, thanks for joining us today over the Innovative Entrepreneur Production Studio. We've got an awesome guest in-house today. You guys are really going to like to hear about what he's got going on. He is the owner of Uptown Virtual Reality. Ethan, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and do a shoot with us.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing, man.
Excited.
So one of the things that we really like to focus in on here is working with local entrepreneurs so that we can get their businesses out there and talk to them about what they do with their companies, and then also get that information out to other people who may not already be aware of what you're doing in Wabash. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your companies?
So basically with Uptown Virtual Reality, we provided a less expensive alternative to the current model of virtual reality, which is buying really expensive gaming rig and all of these all these little things, all the games. We take the middleman out and we buy all the games and license them, and then we bring the systems and we bring the headsets, and you can buy them at a per minute base, so $1 per minute, and basically that's kind of how it works.
All right, so it sounds like you have an interesting business model and a unique pitch with what you're doing with Uptown Virtual Reality. How have you gone about breaking down the actual process of purchasing those games and then also making it affordable for people who may not have the $300 to $500 up front to put up their own rigs?
So we don't actually have to purchase our games outright. We actually license them through a company called Springboard.
Okay.
And they track the amount of time that our customers are coming in to play the games.
Okay.
Yeah, so and it makes a very nice automated booking system for our customers too. So
yeah, it makes it really easy to actually record what's going on. It does that all automated for you.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then so you don't have to pay that upfront price, that upfront fee to actually purchase a new game, which those games can cost $50 to $80.
Right.
How long has your business been up and running?
We've been open for about, I think, almost a year now, and I remember opening like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But I've been very surprised by the feedback and how I've been in such a supportive community. No better place to start a business than Wabash County.
Starting your own business at such a young age, that can be very intimidating for a lot of people. How do you think that you've been able to take that and just roll with it?
It is. There's been a lot of challenge with showing people that I know what I'm providing. I'm very confident in what I'm providing, regardless of being kind of a young entrepreneur. But I know that I have a passion for VR and virtual reality and augmented reality, the whole 9 yards, and that's really what I'm invested in, and I love the entertainment aspect of it, and I'm very confident in what I sell, so that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that's great. That's great. And I think it takes a lot of passion to be able to drive through with something like this.
Right.
What actually gave you the idea and the confidence to be able to open up an arcade?
I was in my apartment one day, bought my first virtual reality headset, and so I bought it, and I was sitting there in VR chat, which is an experience where you can meet other people and see their avatars like fully.
Oh yeah.
And I asked somebody, I said, like, I wish there was a cheaper VR alternative, and he said something about virtual reality arcades and the fact that they even existed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to save up money and provide this in my town because I don't think it's going on anywhere near it.
Right. Good. And it sounds like you've got a lot of knowledge about the actual industry. You've got a real passion for virtual reality, and then you've got the go-to to actually be able to follow through with something like this. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the relationships that you've developed through opening your own business?
Yeah, so First off, a big thanks really to Grow Wabash County. They've helped us a ton. Grow Wabash County and Visit Wabash County, both. Both two separate entities, but they're great people. And a lot of the things they do are for free. And yeah, I've been working closely with them. Other than that, I wouldn't say that we have any partners yet. I'd like to continue to do more networking downtown.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Awesome.
You mentioned that there have been a couple of different people that have helped you get your name out there. Who helped you get started with this? It sounds like it takes a little bit of capital to get up front. Who's helped you get that process started?
Yeah, so my dad is actually an initial investor.
Okay, so he helped you raise some of the capital that you might have needed early on.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, how important has that been to actually being able to pay your rent, pay for your products up front, make sure you can get your platform started so that you can actually start making some money with this?
Yeah, so short term, it was great. Now that we're up and running, a lot of our customers have helped us pay rent and, all the little things, little details.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's a highly profitable business concept, so that even this early on, in under a year, you're already profitable enough that the residual customers that are coming in and playing the games are helping you keep your business up and running.
Right.
That's great. I mean, a lot of businesses typically take 3 to 5 years to even become a profitable organization. It sounds like the more that you have been putting into this, the better that things have gone. What was that process like when you first started your business? I'm sure for people who aren't aware of what it takes to actually start your own business, it can be a pretty intimidating process.
Yes, and never to scare anyone away because it's so great, the fulfillment that comes with it. And I spend a lot of nights not very excited and encountering problems,
Right.
but that did not set me back ever.
Right.
I spent a lot of time with all this little stuff, troubleshooting, calling support centers.
Right.
And that's really, now in retrospect, the excitement of the entire journey, if that makes sense.
Right. No, it makes perfect sense. A lot of times at the end of the day, there are things that you're going to have to sit down and do because everything relies on you when you're the entrepreneur and you're starting your own business.
But I'm working towards, while I'm in the process, loving the process for what it is, if that makes sense. Right now, I can easily, in retrospect, remember, man, I really wish when I was having a bad time with that computer issue. In the moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a computer issue. This is great.
Right.
So I'm working towards that. I'm still not perfect, but I'm working in the right direction. And I think everyone else at UptownVR is too. And it started out with just me. I have employed 2 family members, but
Okay.
so I'm working towards something and trying to live the process more.
That's
a little side note.
No, that's perfect. I think a lot of what we do as entrepreneurs is we forget that this is a process and we need to be enjoying it along the way. My grandmother says one of these like little wisdom bits that she always gives me is enjoy the journey. How does it feel to actually be an entrepreneur at your age?
It honestly feels great, and this is really, I think, in my DNA what I was meant for. I absolutely love every second of being an entrepreneur, and owning my own business is a title that gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So,
that's great, man.
Yeah.
What got you into the mindset of being an entrepreneur? Like, what does that mean to you?
I think I've always kind of been in the mindset of being an entrepreneur. I started producing content at a very young age. I considered a lot of different business ideas, one of them being a supplement company. When I was very big into working out. So I just loved exercise and fitness, and then I realized that wasn't my passion. I don't.
It's quite as much as you are about VR, right?
Yes. When I figured out that VR was a model a service that I could implement into such a great community.
Right.
I was very happy and just gave me more confidence in general being an entrepreneur.
So let's go ahead and talk about some of the skills that you've developed along the way. Some of the things you've learned over the last year of just opening your own business and figuring out what it takes to actually keep a business running successfully.
two of the most important skills is persistence and patience. Because recognizing early on that this will be going nowhere for the next 5, 10, 20 years is very important and weirdly sets your expectations very low.
Right.
And then you're very pleasantly surprised when you see, like for example, in my case, where this amazingly supportive community of Wabash came in and approached it with love. I think patience is very important. Persistence is not giving up when it gets hard, kind of how I touched on earlier with the process and loving the process.
Right, and I think that's huge. Persistence, some people call it grit. We used to call it grit when we would play basketball or whenever we would be doing something. You got to be willing to hunker down, keep that patience, recognize that it's going to take some time to get the ball rolling, but everything that you do right now is setting you up for success in the future. What sort of difficulties have you noticed about starting your own business?
Difficulties are that, yes, it isn't as easy as everyone says it is, but that's the best part about it. Is knowing that you are somebody who did something that no one else wants to even touch. But it really just gives you a lot of gratification.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's super rewarding to be able to accomplish things that other people may not even imagine that they could do. One of the things that I really like about business is it's this complex puzzle, right? And a lot of people don't have that ability to be able to look at such a complex puzzle and put pieces together. And that is an impressive balancing act that I'm sure that it's probably difficult to accomplish.
It is, but I love trying to figure it out.
Yeah, loving the journey, man. That's what it's all about. What's the hardest lesson that you've learned in running your own business?
Oh my goodness. That is such a good question, and I think the hardest lesson has been customer rapport, and building customer rapport, customer relations in general. Something, I have a lot of empathy for people, and you know that I care for people a lot, just in general. I love people, I love talking to people. And so it was interesting for me in my first unsatisfied customer experience, how I handled it and how they reacted. That has been the hardest thing to learn. It's hard to analyze how people feel when they're unsatisfied and how you can react to satisfy them.
One of the difficult things is making sure that you're maintaining your brand name and a positive relationship with your customers, even if a customer has an unsatisfied experience with you.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of maturity to be able to have a conversation with somebody who isn't happy with what happened. And to fix those relationships that you had that have been, as a customer, have been damaged, right?
Right, exactly.
So what did you do in that situation?
So just for a quick example, we actually had a customer come in and they were a little confused by the booking process. So they booked one station for 7 of their kids for 1 hour, thinking that all 7 of them would be in this one station for an hour, which is very easy to misinterpret. And I've since fixed the issue and went a little more in depth. But trying to explain that to them while you have 2 or 3 other people trying to play virtual reality next to you, or 2 or 3 other groups of people trying to play virtual reality right next to you, and keeping them satisfied all on your own, was very rough. So what I did to combat that when those 7 kids came in is I pretty much just told them, you guys are free to wait here, and if this was a bit, for lack of a better word, overkill, keep in mind I was learning the process. So I said, you guys just wait here, I'll have you guys all set up, and the rest of their hours are on me. And so I can choose very happy with that answer, and it actually left me a good Google review. I care about people and I like to satisfy the customers as well. That's the most important part. Entertainment for the family shouldn't be stressful for them to come in.
I think you did what you felt was right, and being an entrepreneur and owning your own business is about doing what you feel is right. With your experience, like, one positive review goes a really long way, but a negative review can detract from your brand way more, 10 times over what one positive review can be. So it's great that you took what could have been potentially negative and you turned it into a positive by making sure that you satisfied the customer. All right, so you guys will notice that we've got our masks on today, trying to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Caitlin, over at Caitlin's Vinyls, hooked me up with my IEP individualized vinyl mask. Thank you so much, Caitlin. We do have our Mortal Kombat themed Sub-Zero and Scorpion masks that are released. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment below if you'd like to see those. I'll go ahead and I'll post some pictures here so you can get an idea of what those are going to look like. But transitioning here, I know COVID-19 has been really tough on a lot of local small businesses. How have you noticed an impact on your business?
So COVID-19 has been really hard on us. I think emotionally it was very hard to be forced to shut down temporarily.
Right, especially in your peak time. Like right now is the summer, and I think there's a lot of people that are out and about.
Exactly, yeah, missing a lot of opportunity, and that sucks, but people are cleaner now than they've ever been before.
Right.
And so for me to be forced to be cleaner is actually a benefit for me, and especially my business, considering we have face masks that need sanitized, and now to do that more intricately means a lot to me, because I wouldn't want anyone to get a disease I would never want.
Right, exactly. So, and it is tough right now. There's a lot going on in the world, and it makes sense to increase our sanitization. What sort of advice would you give to anybody that wants to start their own business?
My advice to anybody who's my age, 18, 19, heck, even 16, is to just start. Because that was the hardest part for me. And once I started, I felt an obligation to continue, and I was very happy that it did. Any idea that you have, just do it, because right now is the time. Just freaking do it, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is really good, man. That's a lot of stuff. And I think that's transcendental information that you're sending there. Like, it's not just young people, it's anybody that wants to start their own business, right?
Yes, yeah.
Nobody knows what they don't know. Anytime you set out to start something new, it's an entirely new learning process. You have to learn the different processes that it takes. You have to learn the legal issues that you have to figure out, like setting up your own LLC and getting a space to rent, you know, what it takes to actually rent as a business.
Right.
How you're gonna pay employees. It's all a new learning experience.
It is.
But it's so rewarding at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people lose sight about how they can create an impact. It's really important to make sure that you take that time to do and pursue what you're passionate about. Steve Jobs always said that having the passion for what you're doing is what's going to be able to pull you through at the end of the day when times are hard. Because everybody's going to have hard times. Things aren't always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but he's proof that you can do it. I just hope that people will take this and actually use that information to their advantage and have a little bit of extra grit at the end of the day to be able to do what they're passionate about. So Ethan actually had an idea. We're going to do a couple of things here. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to run a promotion over at UptownVR, and what he's going to be doing at UptownVR is an IEP 2020 promotional code. The IEP 2020 promotional card will be effective through the end of July, and anybody that uses that is going to get 10% off of their experience at UptownVR. Make sure that you guys like and follow. Thank you so much for watching this today. One of the things that we want to also do is promote local opportunities. Take a look at his UptownVR website. You can also like and follow his social media, Instagram, and YouTube stations as well. I will post those links below. We really appreciate the opportunity to share another local entrepreneur's experience. Hopefully we're inspiring some of you people who eventually want to be an entrepreneur yourself.